What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, I know it's last minute, but I have to get out my Abner Jhonny Gonzalez prediction. Been really busy just doing all kinds of stuff, but again, stay posted. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. I got a lot of great things in store. Can't really speak on some of them, but a lot of good things in store, and I've just been busy with that. However, I want to get my prediction out there. Abner versus Jhonny Gonzalez. A great fight on paper. Definitely looking forward to that tonight. I want to see it. I've said this before. Abner is a fighter that initially, out the gates, I wasn't really thrilled with him. Nothing really just impressed me. Like, oh, he has Amir Khan hand speed, or he has the chin of Brandon Rios, or anything. Nothing really just stuck out one attribute, and I was just like, damn, this dude is next. Plus, I thought he fought kind of dirty in the Ekbeko fight and things like that. However, I am a realist. I'm a sensible boxing viewer. I look at different fights, and I view them objectively. I don't just use favoritism and say, oh, he's gonna lose because this fighter is this or this fighter is that. I don't do that. I looked at the fights from both sides. There's two sides to every story. There's three sides to every story. So Abner similar to Danny Garcia, is one of those fighters that when I first started watching him, I wasn't too thrilled. I wasn't too impressed. But time and time again, they keep showing me more and more. A lot of heart, a lot of grit, determination. They have that bite down. When it's crunch time, will I get the job done? They have that type of spirit. I look at Abner and Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia weathered a late storm from Zab Judah, a veteran, and he bit down and did what he had to do. So all of his previous rounds with Zab Judah, where he looked good and he looked dominant, didn't go to waste. Zab Judah clearly has power, he has skill, he has athleticism, speed. He could have stopped Danny Garcia, but Danny Garcia has a chin. Back to Abner same thing. I look at Abner and I look at fighters like that, and I think Abner is cut from the same cloth as a Timothy Bradley. Timothy Bradley, when the going gets tough, what do they do? How do they respond? And from what I've seen so far, they respond in a tremendous fashion. Timothy Bradley with Ruslan Provodnikov was hurt, knuckled down, and did what he had to do to win a lot of the middle rounds, which is what ended up winning him the fight. Having that composure under pressure. Same thing with Abner When the going gets tough, he takes it to another level. He has the will and desire to win, and he's grown on me. Same with the Danny Garcia. Again, two fighters that I wasn't just blown away when I started watching them. Like, oh, this dude is just amazing. But through consistency, you have no choice but to give it up. Abner another thing, his resume is a great resume. I'm surprised he's not really mentioned so much on the pound for pound list, but his resume in his respective divisions are crazy. He fought Vic Darchinyan, Joseph Ekbeko at the time when Ekbeko was active and feared. He fought Anselmo Moreno, Eric Moreno. Eric Morel. I don't know what the fuck I just said those other two names for. He fought Eric Morel. Most recently, he moved up in weight, had a very stern test against Daniel Ponce de Leon, who is a fighter to me that has the ability, with his southpaw stance, with his power, everything considered, he has the power to make anyone's night a hard night. And Abner passed that test in a new division with flying colors. So you got to give it up. If nothing else, if you don't like him, you think he's a dirty fighter, give it up for his heart, determination, and competitive nature and willingness to win. So Abner is definitely a fighter who's gained my respect through consistent performances, through his resume, through just sheer determination and grit to be the best and go out and make these statements. He's taken on Jhonny Gonzalez. Another tough fight, in my opinion. Jhonny Gonzalez statistically beats him in a lot of categories in terms of like height and reach. He's much taller than Abner He packs a punch, and he's fought at the weight Abner is fighting him at before, where Abner has the Daniel Ponce de Leon fight, and that's it at 126. Jhonny Gonzalez, a seasoned veteran. He has tons of fights. He has 8 losses on his resume, but he's a fighter with power. He has punching power, and he's been in there with some credible names like Daniel Ponce de Leon and Nishioka. As far as Jhonny Gonzalez, those two things alone is a formula to give someone a hard night. The fact that you have punching power and you have experience. So depending on what your opponent does, that's going to ultimately make or break them and determine how the fight looks. I see Abner Mars beating Jhonny Gonzalez probably via TKO stoppage. Abner Mars is not like a devastating puncher, but he has enough grind to outgrind and outwork you. So I would say rounds 4 or 5, maybe. I see him stopping Jhonny Gonzalez because I think when it comes to tenacity and durability, Abner Mars is levels above Jhonny Gonzalez. I don't think Jhonny Gonzalez is equipped to deal with Abner Mars' rugged style of fight. You can argue that Abner Mars employs some of the Bernard Hopkins and Miguel Cotto veteran techniques, and he's a young fighter. And by I mean with Cotto and Hopkins techniques is fighting dirty, but not dirty enough to get you disqualified or points deducted. Like just using your weight, rabbit punches, just different things, hitting behind the back of the head, just whatever you can do to make it a rough and ugly fight and make it uncomfortable for your opponent. People like Bernard Hopkins, Miguel Cotto, they've been doing it time and time again for years. Great fighters, take nothing away from them. But there are little veteran techniques. Floyd Mayweather, another fighter who doesn't fight dirty, but there are dirty techniques. So let me be clear with what I'm saying. Hopkins, Cotto, and Mayweather, I'm not saying they're dirty fighters because I don't think their whole game plan is outlined by using dirty techniques. However, in a fight, you will notice they do some things, some individual techniques that are just sneaky, dirty kind of tricks of the trade. Like Mayweather sometimes uses his elbows to push off. And realistically, you have to be equipped to deal with that. There's a lot of fighters like Amir Khan. I've seen him use his elbows to push off. Paulie Malignaggi said Miguel Cotto was the dirtiest fighter he's ever fought, but he gets away with it, and he knows what to do and when to do it. It's similar to, if you guys used to watch wrestling, I used to be a huge wrestling fan back when it was WWF, before the WWE. Huge wrestling fan. My favorite fighter was the Ultimate Warrior. Of course, I like Macho Man. Oh, yeah. Rest in peace. Mr. Perfects and Papa Shango, all those fighters. I used to love them all. But if you, obviously that's scripted, but if you look, there'll be times where there's like a double team like match, and then the ref will have his back turned, and then that's when they'll use something to hit, like a chair to hit the person, and then he's knocked out, and then the opponent will pin him down, and then the ref will turn back around and see the action, see the person on the ground, and then count him out for the 3 count. 1, 2, 3, and then he's out. That's what some of these boxers do. They kind of do little subtle, little small nuances that have the ability to wear their opponent down. Tyson Fury, another fighter in the heavyweight division. If you watch the Cunningham fight, he was laying his weight on Cunningham, who was a cruiserweight who came up to fight Tyson Fury. After so long of doing that, I mean, there's only so much your body could take. Cunningham is a fit dude. He's in shape. But having that big Goliath of a man, like just putting his body weight on you and like constantly pushing and like rubbing up against you and rubbing his head, and I mean, all fighters to a degree have similar or certain dirty traits. Timothy Bradley sometimes comes in with his head, just different stuff. I don't want to get too far into dirty, but as far as Abner Mars, there was a lot that I seen that he was doing that was kind of dirty. So again, I wasn't a huge fan of him, but I definitely have changed my outlook based on his performances, his consistency, his resume, and what he's bringing to the table. So as far as the like dirty tactics, if you can get away with it, then and the ref's not calling it, what do? I mean, your opponent has to make adjustments. And I think in the Robert Guerrero versus Andre Berto fight, Guerrero did exactly what he was supposed to be doing. The ref is not warning him. Berto's crying about it. Keep doing it. You know what I mean? This is the hurt business. This is a fight game. I don't know if some of you guys realize that. This is 2 grown men getting a paycheck to either knock you out or win or hurt you. That's what it is. There's no it's not organized like the NFL, like, oh, you did this, or basketball, like, oh, technical foul, you're out. You know what I mean? This is the fight business. You're getting paid to hurt each other. Basketball, you're not getting paid to elbow people and hurt people and push them and punch them. You're not getting paid. You're getting paid to put the ball through the rim. You know what I mean? So boxing is a different animal. It's a different beast. And again, if a fighter's constantly doing something that you don't appreciate or you don't like, I mean, you still got to make an adjustment. You can't just cry about it like Berto did against Guerrero. It's just not going to work. Overall, I see Abner Mars imposing his will. He looks like he's in tremendous shape at 126 and comfortable. He's undefeated, so he has momentum. Jhonny Gonzalez is a fighter who's been stopped. He knocked Nishioka down in the first round, I believe, when Jhonny Gonzalez fought him, so it shows you have power. And he was stopped by the third round. Nishioka stopped him. Nishioka also later went on to fight Nonito Donaire, who ran through him, another fighter with power. So that goes to show you Donaire's power is probably a little bit more severe and extreme than Gonzalez's, just because Donaire was able to do whatever he wanted, and Nishioka was very hesitant to even engage in trade punches with Nonito versus he stopped Jhonny Gonzalez. So overall, I see Abner Mars beating Jhonny Gonzalez. I think the first round, the filler round, may be real competitive. Either fighter could get it, but when we get to like round 4 or 5, I see Abner Mars just imposing his will, making a huge statement, and probably stopping Jhonny Gonzalez, just because, again, I don't think he's going to be equipped to deal with Abner Mars's like style. It's just very rough and tumble, where he brings you into the trenches and makes you uncomfortable. He's not a guy you would want to fight. Sometimes he looks sloppy, but he finds a way to win. So I'm putting my money with Abner Mars in this particular fight. Let me know what you guys think. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.